Welcome back to the channel, guys. Are you ready for this? We get to talk SEO today. I mean, I was getting a little bit bored of the SEO talk with Blake Lively because nothing was really happening. But oh my gosh, has it just popped off with this crazy subpoena for content creators. Now, I'm going to let you guys know I'm trying to keep it a little bit low because I have 3 dogs sleeping in the next room. One of them is brand new. We just rescued her, just adopted her from the Humane Society. And the reality is if they start popping off, I don't know. I might have to end early. So I'm going to try and keep it quiet, but we are diving into this today. My mentions were just going crazy within the last 24 hours, asking, Ashley, is this SEO manipulation? Everyone's saying it's SEO manipulation. What's happening? And we're going to break it down because the answer is kind of yes and no. But I think what we have to do today, because I think a lot of people are learning, thankfully, from this channel in regards to PR tactics. Sorry, I'm gonna get my computer set up properly. Sorry, guys. It's been crazy with the new puppy here. So we are, we're making do. I'm trying to get as much out to you guys as I can while it's crazy. So I think a lot of people are learning from the channel, but I've realized because I don't think I've ever really gone into like really what is SEO manipulation, or we've talked about it briefly. We've more gone into the specific tactics that there seems to be a little bit of a misunderstanding, or actually, I think we have talked about this multiple times. But I also wanted to shout out LZ because she, I think, is the only person that has ever given me credit for talking about SEO manipulation. So thank you, LZ. It was so sweet to see that in my DMs of someone like acknowledging that I talk about it all the time. So thank you so much. Hello, guys. How are you doing? It's so nice to see you guys. It's going to be interesting to know what Ashley has to say about this move. I'm excited. She's quieting the chickens in the back. Close. Quieting the dogs. How are you guys doing, guys? Let me know how everything's going. Hello, hello. It's so nice to see everyone. All right. We love you, Elsie. Yeah. It made my heart happy. I think she's literally the only person that's ever given me a shout out for my work on SEO manipulation. She's fantastic. Okay. And I apologize if I forgot anyone, but let's dive into this, guys, because I want to just be aware of what's going on with the dogs as well. So we're going to dive right in. And again, if you're new to the channel, I am not usually this quiet. I'm usually a lot louder, but we're going to make do. We're going to make this happen. Okay. Yes, what we're seeing is a flood of Blake Lively subpoenas, Perez Hilton, Candace Owens, and I think Andy Signore of Popcorn Planet is the third one. Now, the first thing I want you guys to think of, and I'm going to define what SEO manipulation is as well, but the first thing I want you guys to think of when we're looking at SEO manipulation is it's only Google. Okay, so it's the only thing that you can do SEO manipulation around. So when we're looking at Google, then if we're looking at SEO, SEO is like the umbrella. SEO manipulation is the umbrella. And then we have the tactics underneath it. Okay. So when we talk about SEO manipulation, for those that have been around the channel for a while, you know, we've talked about flooding is a big one. We've called Blake out for that in the past. And then she very shortly afterwards accused Justin of it, which is definitely not one of his PR tactics at all, flooding. But there's flooding is one example we've used before. There's keyword hijacking, which is what we used before as well. And it's an example of what people have done. So we have SEO manipulation as the umbrella term, and then you have your tactics that a PR team will implement underneath. So when we look at, say, Google, and we say, okay, so is this SEO manipulation? So for myself, I'm looking at what is trending in regards to it, and or what are they trying to suppress in regards to those keywords. So what I was seeing a lot of is people asking, is this in regards to the Van Zandt subpoena? A lot of people were thinking, she's trying to use this word subpoena and Blake Lively, right? So that'd be keyword hijacking, is you're hijacking the words Blake Lively and you're hijacking the word subpoena to suppress. This is what I'm assuming people are suggesting is going on, because they're just saying there's SEO manipulation in regards to subpoena. So what I'm assuming people are thinking is they're thinking, okay, she's taking Blake Lively, which is the name that's trending, and subpoena, which could be trending in regards to Van Zandt, and trying to push it down in Google. The problem is has anyone seen any trending around Van Zandt? I mean, let me know because I've been a little bit busy. I'm not going to lie. I've been a bit busy with the new rescue puppy that we adopted. So I might have missed it, but I have not seen any legacy media picking it up to the point where it's like, oh shit, we've got to push this down. Okay. So, yes. Oh, thank you. Yes, Leo. So, first 2 pages, because people sometimes don't go past the first page. Exactly. So, when we look at, actually, let's pull up the other, and I'll define SEO more, SEO manipulation more in a second. Just give me a second to show, because I have another Google search pulled up. All right. Okay. So, I pull up this. If we're thinking or we're wondering, is Blake Lively trying to push down the word subpoena? I then ask myself, okay, well, what would she be connected to in regards to the word subpoena? And a lot of people are thinking Van Zandt, but if you pull up Blake Lively subpoena, yes, this is trending right now. So it's trending. People's usually the place that she goes to, but I believe TMZ led with the story. It was 20 hours ago. And then everyone else started catching on. But usually what you're going to see with this is they're catching on because it's being sent out to everyone. So yes, that is trending. But I'm not, there's what's trending the highest. So if we're looking at keyword hijacking, what she's trying to do, and don't worry, I'm going to fill you in on what I think's going on. You're going to have to stick around for what I think's going on. Something's still going on. Of course, something's going on, but this is what's here. Blake Lively subpoena Scooter Braun. So unless all of a sudden she is like having this massive regret over the headline of Blake Lively subpoena Scooter Braun, I don't think she's worrying about pushing that down in the algorithm. What else are we seeing? Blake Lively subpoenas Justin Baldoni. What's on page 2? Taylor Swift spokesperson blasts Justin Baldoni over subpoena. Taylor Swift subpoenaed. Meghan Markle watches as Blake Lively subpoenas. All right, whatever. 17 hours ago. Taylor Swift spokesperson responds to subpoena. So let me know in the comments. Can you guys see that we're not really seeing Van Zandt subpoena, Blake Lively, Shell Company, right? Like we're not seeing anything trending in regards to that. I actually don't think I've seen any legacy media pick that up. And so when we're talking about SEO manipulation, that term only applies to Google. So SEO is search engine optimization. You can't optimize the search engine of Instagram or TikTok because there's no search engine. It's an algorithm. Okay, so we're not trying to optimize a search engine on other types of platforms. What SEO manipulation technically is it's the intentional engineering or manipulation of online content. So it's going to bury, overshadow, redirect attention away from damaging or unwanted search results. Google's going to be your number one. Now, we are seeing it a little bit more on other platforms, but the reality is if you're paying a crisis PR team like $50K to $100K a month, are you really worrying about DuckDuckGo? Like, let's be honest right now. No. Like, does anyone use any platform other than Google? I don't know. It's actually very telling that no legacy media is reporting on Van SHAM. They're all complicit. Personally, I just think people are going to report on what people are going to click on. And the average person, I don't think cares about a shell company, to be quite honest. I'm not saying that legacy media isn't. I've had a lot of videos up in regards to especially Condé Nast in the owning of the platforms and connections to Ryan, etc. But, what platforms are going to click on is what's going to get clicks, or what they're going to report on is what's going to get clicks. I just don't foresee like Blake Lively, a shell company, as being something people worry about at the end of the day or click on, because clicks are money for legacy media. So again, we're looking at SEO manipulation. You're looking to bury, overshadow, or redirect attention. So redirecting attention also can be something like flooding. But we have kind of the most popular types of SEO manipulation are going to be one, flooding, or keyword hijacking. Now, I was actually just talking to one of my one-on-one clients because I said, we are actually, because again, I do branding and marketing. That's what I do. We are actually keyword hijacking in her brand in a positive way. So this isn't bad, right? At the end of the day, this isn't bad. You need to understand how to use Google if you are going to have a personal brand or a business, period. You have to understand how to use it. So what we're doing with her brand is she is in the dog training arena or realm, but she doesn't identify with the word dog trainer. Well, the thing is are people looking for something such as personal coach for you and your puppy, like a holistic approach to working with your puppy? Not necessarily. So if we're using, say, a title of personal coach, especially one that someone is a thought leader in and creating a whole new niche in, well, the reality is if you build your entire brand around the words personal coach for you and your puppy, you're not going to trend. You're going to be a lot harder to find because very few people, let me know if this makes sense. Because again, this isn't shady shit when it's done correctly. It becomes shady when people are using loopholes to manipulate the narrative, right? This is normal PR stuff, just done on steroids to manipulate the public and manipulate the narrative. So let me know if this makes sense. So when we're looking at that, like if someone says, no, I want like this holistic approach, I want to be a personal coach, but no one's Googling that because they're not, we put personal coach for you and your puppy. And the tagline is not your average dog trainer. So we are using dog trainer to keyword hijack in Google. Because if you put that in your title, if you put that in your H1 headlines on your website, if you put that in your blogs, it's going to pick up the dog trainer piece a lot faster than it's going to for personal coach. So that's an example of keyword hijacking and how it's done right. But you need to know how to do this. Like, I don't want anyone to come to my channel and be like, oh my gosh, like all of this is bad. It's not. It's just used in regards to like Blake in this example of controlling the narrative in a manipulative way. There's a difference, but you have to understand how to use Google if you ever want people to find you. That's such a smart approach. Yeah. Right? Because you don't have to fit it in the box. If you don't identify with dog trainer and that doesn't feel right for you, it's not about fitting yourself into the box. It's about how can we keyword hijack so people are still finding you. So that's one example of keyword hijacking. Blake did it. I had videos where she used the word yummy and she was flooding keyword hijacking on Google. So it was pushing down that, it was in Michelle Trachtenberg's post that she made, but she was pushing down text messages because there were a lot of posts coming up and a lot of articles around that weird, like yummy message or whatever that she sent to Justin Baldoni. So flooding also is a really popular one. So flooding is going to be like quite literally what's happening right now, actually. It is what's happening right now. So you're publishing like 10 plus articles titled Blake Lively subpoenas Candace Owens and Perez Hilton, Blake Lively subpoenas content creators. That's what we're seeing here. So this is flooding, but it's not the entirety of what's going on. All right. So it's not the entirety of what's going on. What this is, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like it's literally flooding. So we're almost completely taking over the first page. It's bleeding into the second page. I wonder if it's even on the third page. Oh, there's Scooter Braun again. See, that's the only, in terms of Blake Lively and subpoena, that's the only thing that's being pushed down or like impacted. And I just don't think Blake cares to bury that. And that's why I don't think this has anything to do with like the Van Zandt subpoena. The average person doesn't care. I know you guys do because you're following the case. You guys love it, right? You want to know what's going on with Van Zandt. You want to know how she manipulated everything. The Jane Does. Is this criminal? I think it's criminal. I think there should be like federal charges here. But what do I know? Not a lawyer. The average person doesn't care. The average person wants to click on like, holy shit, Blake Lively subpoenaed Scooter Braun. Holy shit, Taylor Swift is dragged in by Justin Baldoni. That gets clicks, and clicks are money. Okay? Now, let's see one more time. Yeah, it's on third page as well. And a lot of Taylor Swift. So those are two of like the main ones we're going to see. Number 3, I would say at the top would be reputation laundering. It's also called reputation washing, but I like to call it reputation laundering. But it's creating positive press coverage. So it can be interviews, brand deals, fluff pieces, which are very popular, especially around public figures and celebrities. You get like Variety will have you for a fluff piece, and then that starts getting picked up. But that is to push down negative stories and search rankings. That's used a lot in politics. For example, another way it would be used, say a company is, say there's like an oil spill. It's the best thing I can think of off the top of my head. Say there's an oil spill and the company wasn't following guidelines. Well, all of a sudden that company's donating millions and millions and millions of dollars. And they're getting featured for donating millions and millions and millions of dollars. Well, now all of a sudden, those bad stories are pushed down. The negative stories are pushed down in the search rankings on Google. And now all you see is company X is donating millions of dollars. Okay. So that would be reputation laundering. I like the term. It used to be called reputation laundering more, but for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe people are worried about the name. So another one that we see as well is chaos campaigns. To me, this is more what happened to Scooter's subpoena. Good question. Great question. Great question, my friend. And it just goes to show that even if that subpoena was out there, which it probably was, the narrative that Blake pushed around it was all just to try and make herself like, one, it made herself look good, right? Like, I'm going to go after this guy that, has caused problems for women, but also likely to push down the Taylor Swift stuff. Honestly, I would say Scooter's subpoena is probably more closely linked to direct SEO manipulation than what we're seeing right now. So let me know if this makes sense so far. Let me know if this makes sense. Federal charges, yes, would love that. Oh my gosh, I wish. Very unrealistic. We can dream, we can manifest it. Okay, so for me, this feels more like a controlled chaos campaign. We've seen this before. So it's kind of this multi-pronged approach, and it hits multiple platforms. Because really, at the end of the day, perfect. I'm so glad. Yay. I'm trying. I even made myself a couple notes to keep myself on track to make sure I'm going step by step so it makes sense. If I look at, and that's why I didn't talk about this yesterday, I wanted to see what happened with everything. So watching everything as it played out, well, what's happening now? Every content creator, including Candace, is talking about this. And a lot of people are saying, well, Candace had stopped talking about this pretty much. A lot of content creators had moved on about this. And now she's just like reignited. Like, you're such an idiot, Blake. Well, no, it was intentional. It was intentional. And Reynolds probably inhaling all of Ashley's content. That's hilarious. I'm sure Taylor can't wait for Blake to forget her name. Yeah, probably. Blake's punishment, like in Game of Thrones, should be to cut off all of her hair. It's back to being a rat's nest in the new ads. Man, not that I want to talk, but I also don't sell hair products, and I'm not a celebrity with, $500 million. Okay, so what I started to watch, because again, I didn't want to talk on this until I started to see what was going on. But what I assumed was going to happen happened. Every content creator is talking about this now. But that's part of the chaos, right? It's not like, oops, Blake made a mistake and now Candace is talking about it again. That's all part of the chaos. Getting everyone talking about it is part of the chaos. And at first I was like, actually, you're not going to talk about it because you're not entering this chaos. You're keeping your cool. You're not contributing to this. And I was like, no, that's okay. We're gonna talk facts here. What does Emily D. Baker say? Facts, not fuckery. That's what we're gonna talk about here. So it's okay. But every content creator is talking about it. So that is where I could see the benefit of overshadowing the Van Zandt piece come in. Because the average person for SEO manipulation 'Cause I'm like, I also can't fully not be involved in chaos, so there's that. So when we're looking at SEO manipulation, I don't think it has the Van Zandt has anything to do with it. Nothing to do with it. However, in terms of the content creators, yes, because we have limited bandwidth. And so if people are creating a lot of content around Blake Lively never sent these subpoenas, which in theory, she could have just leaked it to TMZ and those subpoenas are still on the way, right? Like in theory, that could be the case. And I wouldn't even be surprised if that is the case, where she leaked it out to TMZ to cause a bunch of ruckus, to get everyone all up in arms, to get everyone talking about it, to do what it needs to do over on Google. And then the subpoenas are on the way. I wouldn't be surprised. I also wouldn't be totally shocked if it was a bunch of bullshit. I wouldn't be surprised either way. But what this feels like more is that. Now, why I feel like that is not only do we have the content creators that are now, because again, attention is limited. We can only focus on Blaka's chaos. Yes. She brings chaos where she goes. So not only do we have that, so content creators are diverted and now they're talking about this, which at the end of the day, all it does is cause, like, here's the thing. People that know, people that are in the know and are following this whole case and our team Justin and whatever are following every detail of the case. They know. They're like, whatever, even if she did, who cares? Because no one talked to them. And people that are Googling, probably at the end of the day, like I don't see them being overly interested in the Van Zandt piece. But what I do think there's a piece of this is in terms of getting ahead of the narrative. So remember what I said, when we're looking at these either SEO manipulation or chaos campaigns, you want to get ahead of something or suppress something. And I don't think there's anything to suppress right now, necessarily. Blake hasn't done shit. She hasn't done anything in SEO. Her SEO has been boring, like boring. There's nothing been going on. There's not a whole hell of a lot to suppress, right? So if there's nothing to suppress, all I can think of is she's trying to get ahead of something and divert attention away from something. Well, if I think of what could she possibly try to divert attention away from, yesterday, July 1st, from what I can find, was the deadline for her to turn documents over. And in theory, it should have been also the Taylor Swift documents, the Taylor Swift text messages. Now, there's some controversy back and forth because I don't think it was ever really confirmed either way where it explicitly said Taylor Swift is included in the July 1st. But what we do know is that she had till July 1st to turn over documents. So my thinking is, and it could be off because I'm not hired by Blake, I'm not hired by Justin, I am totally independent. But what my thinking is, could there potentially be a fear in her camp of something leaking? Could there be a fear of something going up on the court docket? Could there be a fear of something in, his camp talking about something coming out, and they're trying to create the chaos now to get ahead of it? Because I don't think anyone's talked about, has anyone talked about how the deadline was yesterday? Candace did say she spoke to her lawyer and told her they were being delivered. Thank you so much, Sabrina, for letting us know. Today, July 2nd. So, okay, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. That she leaked it to TMZ to Ashley's full-time client is Daisy. For real. For real. My life is a chaos campaign. I was crazy busy before I even brought in a third rescue dog. So, my life is a chaos campaign. Yeah, I don't think anyone's talked about it. Now, I'm not following all the dockets anymore. Let's just see. Yeah, there's some stuff popping up in regards to street relations and that with, is it Jeff and Blake? I'm not seeing a ton of stuff that's popped up, but it was a deadline. And no one's really talking about, there might be nothing to talk about at this point. But it just makes me wonder if they're a little bit nervous that there is something they have to get a hold of or ahead of. So that would be your chaos campaign. Now, that's going to also, the chaos campaign as a follow along to that, you're going to do the keyword hijacking, keyword pollution is what it becomes. It's just like a mess on Google. You're overtaking Google, content flooding with it. There's a dilution of the story, the dilution of content creators' attention because content creators are over here being like, no, it wasn't sent, or no, we didn't talk to Justin's team. So now everyone's kind of like infighting. And now you even look at Blake's side. Blake's side's even like trying to find old videos of Donna and old videos of content creators that prove that the content creators are lying now because, yes, you did say that you were talking to Wayfair and Justin Baldoni's team. Like, it is chaos. Whenever you see a PR move and you go, shit, this is chaos, it's a chaos campaign. And so it's the first trigger for me all the time as I sit back and I watch and I wait. And if all of a sudden it feels like a tornado just ran through, that's usually what you can tell is that it was a chaos campaign. So what we're looking at essentially with the umbrella of a chaos campaign is strategic flooding of conflicting, distracting, or emotionally charged information. So it's intentionally released into the public. So let's look at it from this. Conflicting. Yes, it is conflicting because you're going to have Blake's side that is like, no, of course, content creators are speaking with Justin and Wayfair. It's the only thing that makes sense. There was a smear campaign. And you're going to have Justin's side that's like, no, none of us have spoken to Wayfair or Justin's side. So you have the conflicting. It's distracting because, again, no one's mentioned anything about the deadline. No one's talking about anything else in regards to this. It's just all in regards to this campaign. And it's emotionally charged. People are pissed. People are fighting back and forth. I would even argue that ex-patriarch or whatever, is that his name? My whole life is chaos with no campaign. I feel that. We don't need the campaign. We don't need the campaign. Our lives are just chaos. So emotionally charged, I don't know. Has anyone else ever got a feeling that Ryan Reynolds is ex-patriarch? Because I continually get the feeling that Ryan Reynolds is ex-patriarch. I don't know. That's allegedly. I'm not saying it actually is, but I've always just got, I should keep my voice down and wake puppies up. I'm getting like so ramped up because I get so excited about this. So what we're looking, or so where was I going? With ex-patriarch, I've always felt he's Ryan. Ryan has been known to create sock puppet accounts. So I wouldn't even be surprised. But it's interesting because you see accounts like him or accounts that are linked to Blake's side that are intentionally creating more chaos. They're intentionally creating more problems. Makes me wonder if they're paid by that side or if they are sock puppet accounts, if ex-patriarch is a sock puppet account. I love how Ashley doesn't know ex-patriarch is. I don't know. Is that who it is? Ryan Reynolds behind the sock puppet account. But those accounts, and there's a couple other ones that are linked to Blake, or I've always felt they're linked to Blake allegedly. They're just stirring the pot. Like they're out there just instigating. Right? And so emotionally charged information accusing people of that's emotionally charged, rightfully so. It is rightfully so. If I was accused of something I didn't do, I'd be emotionally charged about it. Right? Kind of offended that I'm not like, no, I'm actually more offended for Elsie. I'm more offended for Elsie that Elsie wasn't mentioned. If anyone's mentioned, it should be Elsie. Elsie's done like such incredible work. I don't know, uncovering so much stuff. That pisses me off. Ryan, you should have included Elsie on that. But it's emotionally charged. Rightfully, people should be pissed. If they're being accused, if words are being put in their mouth and they're being accused of things they didn't do, they should rightfully be pissed about it. But all this does is it's meant to manipulate the media cycle, confuse audiences, dilute damaging narratives, and dominate the attention economy so that in this situation where it seems like they're trying to get ahead of something, which again, I don't know, I'm not on Blake's team. I can just guess. But if it looks like they're saying, we need to get ahead of this. Let's just go with this theory. This stuff's going to be sent out, July 1st. We're turning it over to Wayfair. We're afraid something's going to leak, which Blake's side's always leaking shit. We're afraid something's going to leak. So let's create a little bit of chaos. Let's create a little bit of a mess to dilute the attention, distract people. It's very possible that that's exactly what they're doing. But this is all, it's all narrative control. And instead of essentially what strict SEO manipulation will do is try to like bury or defend against like one bad headline. And it's never one. I know you're probably thinking like, it's not one though, actually. Yes, but it'll be like multiples, but it's essentially like a headline. That's the issue. Like Taylor Swift subpoenaed. Yes, there's going to be different headlines in regards to it, but it's essentially still the same headline. That's not what they're doing with the chaos campaign. Your goal is to create like so many headlines, almost like subplots and scandals attached to it, that the public loses track of what actually even matters. So even the general public, for example, on Google, like I don't know, like I'm bored of this. This is ridiculous. How do you even keep up with this anymore? So that's also a part of it, right? Yeah, narrative run amok. Narrative is out of control. You got it. Hello. Hi. So nice to see you. Traveling right now, but keeping on the loop with you. Well, welcome to the chat. So nice to have you here. Yeah, so it's like the narratives run amok. That's a great way to put it. And then the average person as well. And I'm starting to see this in some of the, not everyone, but I'm starting to see this in some of the posts on Facebook in the comments. People are like, okay, I'm tired of this. Like, I'm tired of this. I can't even keep track of it. So the public, the general public that isn't super invested starts to lose track or just lose track of what actually matters. And the journalists and creators start chasing those side stories. So they get distracted. The search engines, social platforms are going to be flooded with a bunch of noise. And I don't doubt, and here's the thing too, actually, I'm going to back up. If the subpoenas are going out today, so say those 3 people are going to be served today with them. What's today? Wednesday. Subpoena LLC, she worked for it. She did work for it. Okay, I want to back up. Okay, I'm going to challenge you guys. We have a quiz time. I did a video recently. I'm going to see if anyone remembers. Today's Wednesday, so this started Tuesday. I did a video recently, and I said that news drops used to happen on Fridays, but they don't happen much anymore because now we're in a totally different news cycle, right? Totally different news cycle. Back in the day, like in my time, when I was young, you drop something on a Friday and it died down over the weekend. You could drop great news on a Friday and it died down over the weekend because there wasn't really anything. You didn't have TikTok. You didn't I had MySpace as a teenager. That was it, right? So the news landscape has changed so much. And so I did a video recently saying you used to get news dumps on Fridays because, or especially around bad news, because we kind of like fly under the radar. And I talked about, it was just probably a week ago, I said the new day to do news dumps, whether it's positive or even negative, where it's going to gain traction. I said it would be on a what day? Anyone have an idea? Yes. So the stuff that they wanted to skip was dump on Fridays. Yeah. But what day of the week? You got it. Tuesday. So it just clicked in because what are days of the week anymore? You guys got it. I know there's a delay, so you guys got it before I said it. Yep. Taco too. Oh, now I want tacos. Oh my goodness, now I'm hungry. You guys got it. You guys are good. See? Oh my gosh, I'm so proud that you guys actually listen to what I say. I'm so proud. It's amazing. Sometimes I wonder, like, does anyone listen to that kind of stuff? I'm a nerd for that kind of stuff. I'm so glad. So Tuesday. Yeah, and it is a holiday week. Good point. So she leaked the information on a Tuesday. And I think that that's right in line with what I've been saying, is that's when you're going to get that like big positive news because you can dominate the news cycle. But the interesting thing is, so they dropped it on Tuesday. If they always intended to actually serve those individuals today, you've now extended that news cycle. So leaking it on a Tuesday, yet serving on a Wednesday. I see you, Blake and Ryan. I see you, PR team. I see you. I mean, it's smart, but so they leak it on a Tuesday, but they have now what's going to happen today is likely people starting to talk about the subpoenas coming in. So if Candace gets served, she's going to talk about it. I'm sure if Andy gets served, he'll talk about it. I'm sure Perez will talk about it as well. And then everyone else is going to pick up that story. So they've extended the news cycle of dominating, creating chaos, but dominating the narrative. It's actually very smart narrative control. I mean, not to give them props or anything, but it is pretty smart. Leak it on a Tuesday. Tuesdays are big. Because Mondays are because people are just getting back into the flow, especially if you have an online business, guys. You don't really want to launch on a Monday. You can get away with launches of like hair care, personal care a little bit more on the weekends, but Tuesdays are the day to launch. Launch it on a Tuesday, drop the news. You've dominated the news cycle for 24 hours. You serve them on the Wednesday. You've got at least 24 hours on that. At least 24 hours on that. Probably more, because that's going to be huge. Because again, say Candace gets served after her show. What's her show? Around 4 p.m. Eastern? Say she gets served at 5 p.m. Eastern. Well, the show's already done, but she's probably going to talk about it today. Likely, maybe not. Maybe a reel, maybe a story around it. But you've got her again talking about it tomorrow. People are going to pick it up. Other content creators are going to pick it up. So it's actually smart how they did. Yes, thanks, Leo. I always forget to say it. Like the stream, guys. Subscribe. Hang out with us here. Actually, that's a good point. When is it July 9th, I think? It was rescheduled to. Let me see if I can find it quick. I think it's the 9th. I had it written down somewhere. Yeah, July 9th. Oh, wait. 7th. Oh, no, 9th. Sorry, guys. 9th. Okay, so either way, 7th, 9th, that's a good point too. I forgot that she has her deposition coming up. Yeah, so Blake, overall, I would say this is more of a chaos campaign. So other ways that you can like identify a chaos campaign other than like in separation from SEO manipulation. So again, SEO manipulation will be just your Google. And you're always going to ask, oh yeah, that's right. And the deadline for the appeal. There's a lot going on at the start of July. So SEO manipulation is Google. What are they trying to push down? Or what are they trying to get ahead of? And when you think of, so when you guys are starting to look at Google and look at what are they trying to push down, it has to be significant. Like one headline, they're not really going to bother. Only thing I can see with Blake Lively and Subpoena, I showed you guys, is Taylor Swift and Scooter Braun. And I genuinely don't think Blake cares about pushing that down. Because remember, you're also paying teams a lot of money for this. Because you're going to have someone on your... Oh, she answered her subpoena on the show yesterday. I must have missed that. I didn't watch the end of it. Interesting. Thank you for the update, my friend. Where was I going with that? Yeah, I don't know where I was going. I get excited. I see something. I'm like, okay. So core characteristics of the chaos campaign. 1, volume is going to be huge. So think of the flooding. Number 2, release multiple overlapping stories. And the best thing that I think they did in regards to this, because usually with a chaos campaign, it's none are fully verified because you want to create chaos, right? So also her releasing it before, like to TMZ, before it was verified, creates more chaos. Oh, that's what I was talking about, Leo, paying teams. Yes, thank you. So when we're looking at this kind of campaign, so when you're looking in Google, thank you, Leo. I appreciate you. And what they're pushing down, these teams are getting paid, like, I'd say over $100,000, like these crisis PR teams and everyone that's tracking SEO, because you're going to be tracking in real time what's going on and adjusting your strategy in real time. If it's like one headline, they're not worrying about it, right? Like doesn't matter. So when we look at you want to look at what is the overarching goal of this campaign. And I just don't see anything that's in regards to the subpoena. That's why what really tipped me off, that was more of a chaos campaign. So 1, volume over clarity. 2, release multiple overlapping stories, none fully verified, because you want the chaos. You want people arguing back and forth and getting emotional. Because another thing is when emotions are high, and I can't even believe I'm saying this because someone that I knew in the spiritual world used to say this all the time, and she was such a scam artist. But anyway, it's true. When emotions are high, intelligence is low. So you get people like all up in arms. You get people fighting back and forth. And I'm not saying people are stupid. It's just when we're emotionally charged. That's why I also didn't talk on this yesterday, because I'd be like, screw Blake, and all emotionally charged about it and not looking at it strategically. So when emotions are high, intelligence is low. And so chaos campaigns are trying to like go straight to emotions, get people fired up, get people upset, have non-fully verified accounts so that everyone starts to argue. Number 3, typically leveraging polarizing figures or topics. Does anyone know a polarizing figure? I don't know. That was included in this. Candace, maybe? A lot of people see her as very polarizing. So leveraging a polarizing figure, because again, you're creating more problems because people are now also fighting over that person and causing chaos over that person. And everyone's like, I hate that person anyway, or whatever the case may be. And then then another thing we're looking at is the original, more dangerous story gets buried in the chaos, or they get ahead of the narrative. So in this case, again, I was looking at what are they trying to get ahead of? But yeah, that's what I would say. So, or getting ahead of is kind of that preemptive distraction, right? Like, look over here. It's like a magic trick. Actually, I never thought of that before. It's like a magic trick. Look over here, and you're looking over here, and the assistant's coming over here. But you miss the assistant, or you miss the sleight of hand because you're looking over here. It's essentially what it is. So now issuing subpoenas to cover the fake subpoenas. I believe they were always real. I think the timing of the release was strategic to dominate the news cycle in a longer way. Ashley and Elsie were snubbed. I don't know. Can they even, like, I'm in Canada. Can they even though I have an American patch, but can they even do that to a Canadian? Like, I have a farm, y'all. I can't go to New York for a trial or anything. You're not getting me over in the US. Not that I love the US. I grew up on a border city. I feel as much American as I am Canadian, which I know Canadians will get pissed over that, but whatever. But can they even force me to? I don't know. Oh, the former fake subpoenas, the does. Yeah, I know a lot of people are feeling that, but I didn't see any legacy media pick it up. Honestly, I genuinely do not think. The only way I can see that happening is where that is mattering to them, is to divert content creators away from it. But for SEO manipulation, no. And I genuinely believe, other people might disagree, I genuinely believe Blake believes in her head that there was like the smear campaign against her. I think she believes in her head. I genuinely believe it. Yeah, I do agree with this. Maybe they're trying to cause chaos between creators. Yeah, I do agree with that. 100%. 100%. Because you'll see it. That's a great point. You'll see it happen sometimes in big trials. Even Johnny Depp with Amber Heard saw this happen, where everyone was on everyone's side. I wasn't even creating pop culture content at that time. I had my online business at that time, so I was online and creating content, just not pop culture content like this. And you would see like everyone was together, everyone was friends, things were going well. And you would start to see like it starts to divide over time and people are getting pissed at each other and don't like each other. And so chaos campaigns absolutely 100% can start to turn people against each other. And then you don't have a united front. Then everyone's arguing with everyone else and, make sure to target the ones with high volumes of subscribers. Absolutely. And especially with chaos campaigns, you're looking at controversial figures. And I think Perez is pretty controversial as well for those that, and rightfully so, for those that remember him from back in the day. And I mean, if you really want to go for a certain narrative, if Blake's team really wants to go for a certain narrative that Justin isn't who he brands himself to be with Man Enough, I think dragging Perez into it, which again, if you're old enough and you remember some of the stuff that was done to women back in the day and some of the horrific bullying that was done to them, especially Britney Spears, could be a good character to bring in, good person to bring in to cause more chaos. Yeah, the smear campaign began at congrats on your little bump. It's interesting because you see so much of even people not liking Blake, not liking her marketing, all of that way back when paparazzi took the initial pictures of her. There's videos of Colleen Hoover having to defend her choice of picking Blake Lively ages ago. So what's Blake going to say now? Justin was trying to sabotage her and smear her before the SH happened, before anything happened. It just doesn't make sense. I do wonder if in like her little head, my phone is just going nuts. Okay, so I just got a message. Diddy is apparently not guilty on RICO and trafficking. Well, there you go. I know you're not here for that trial, but there you go. I just got a message in regards to it. Okay, we might pull up something. How long have I been going? So there's a new lawyer added for Van Zandt as well. Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, I'll look at that in a second. Is there a pattern of the political stance that the creators take and that were called out in the TMZ article? I don't know, to be honest. I think more of what they would go, that's a good question. I think more of what they were going for is controversial figures. I think Perez also kills multiple birds with one stone because again, he has a controversial past of treatment of celebrity women. He has a big platform. He's also been very vocal that he's represented by Brian Friedman. So I think Perez Hilton definitely kills multiple birds with one stone. And if heaven forbid, which I doubt there is, and everyone's denied it, but who knows, right? If heaven forbid there had been something that was done between Perez and Brian Friedman and them, I think that's someone that could cause a lot of issues. I think if there's even what do they call it in law? A scintilla? I'm stealing that from Law from watching Legal Bites because she always says it. A scintilla of evidence that there was any connection between Perez and Brian or, oh no, the puppies are waking up, or Justin Baldoni. I would expect Blake's side to run with the narrative of like, look it. You have this Man Enough brand and look who you go to. Look at the creator you pick. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is even any little thread that Blake can pull. Any little even harmless text message that she can get her little grubby little hands on. Oh, you're home. Right in time. The dogs are starting to wake up. I'm going to be only a couple more minutes. I'm going to have to run in a minute, guys, because we can't integrate all the dogs at this point. Yes, Legal Bites. Love her work. She is just a doll. We can't integrate all the dogs at this point, so we need two people to deal with all of them. So anyway, yes, I would expect if Blake can find anything, you're going to start seeing more attacks on Justin Baldoni's brand, is what I would say. But who knows? It could be anything, right? Like a text message, an innocent enough message between Brian and Perez or something. And I imagine it wouldn't be protected by client confidentiality or whatever if it was just like a, that kind of message. But okay, my friends, I think I have to wrap it up there just because the puppies are starting to wake up. And if I get into a new topic, then I'm just going to we'll be here forever. We'll be here forever. So I'm going to leave it at that. If I can sneak in some stuff later, I'll jump back in. If I see anything shift or change in regards to the narrative control, I'll jump back in with you guys. But I do think, hey, and we're ending at 11:11. For any spiritual people here, you know how significant that is. 11:11. Okay, I think with that, we're just going to wrap it up. If you guys enjoyed, please share. And it was so nice to hang out with you guys again live. We used to do it more often, but again, with the puppy, it's really hard. But I hear them crying upstairs, and my poor husband is going to be stuck with 3 dogs. You're welcome, my friend. It's so nice to see you. It's so nice to hang out with you guys. Okay, now they're yelling. Really got to go. Thank you for joining me, my friends, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.